It's recording.
All right, we're in. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. We're back in business at the 10X Club, and it is time for another induction ceremony into our Hall of Fame. I am, of course, Leo. I'm joined, as always, by the executive producer, the man on the button, Oliver Rhodes. How are you doing?
Very good.
Amazing. Today's inductee is, of course, a PeopleVox legend. He's known to us as the operations manager at Meshki, an internationally recognized e-commerce brand that women from Sydney to Hollywood adore. Not only are Meshki a fashion brand on an absolute mission, they are also a series of juxtapositions: mysterious yet bold, sleek yet sexy, subdued yet powerful. This Hall of Famer started his career with Seeker Logistics before joining Meshki 3 years ago. In that time, he has seen the business grow 500%, won a bag of awards, and just recently moved distribution centers. More importantly, though, he has been described on his LinkedIn profile as a conscientious individual with a great work ethic and an infectious positive attitude. Please welcome to the Hall of Fame, Damien Park-Neilson.
Thanks, Leah. That's always great to be here.
What
introduction.
Amazing. How are you doing, Damien? Where are you? How are you?
Good. Yeah, just based in Sydney, lockdown. Slowly kind of transitioning out. Went into the office for the first time this week. It felt good. It's slowly lifting up here. Like it's looking promising over the next couple of months. So yeah, it's been a really tough couple of months, but yeah, it's good to kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel for sure.
That's great. That's great. Damien, my first question is this: how did you get involved in the fashion industry to begin with? Was it something you had set your sights on from a young age?
No way. I had no idea. Hey, I graduated uni. I did international business, and then I took a gap year and just messed around in the US for a while. And then I came back and I was like, what am I going to do with my life? So I got a job with those Seiko guys. That was great. That was a really great experience. Just worked in throughout the warehousing, kind of learned warehousing operations with them. They were very e-com focused as well. And they were kind of really, they're one of the logistics providers that really kind of focused on e-commerce here. So I kind of learned kind of all the returns processing, 3PL and exports, and really kind of gauge kind of supply chain from them. And then from there, I just moved into sales and account management. And so I got kind of the introduction into the fashion world there. I had a few clients into fashion. It ranged from swimwear, women's fashion, men's shoes. And yeah, that's kind of how I met Meshki. And at that point in time, they were the team of, I think we had about 20, both in this office and warehouse. And they were just in discussions, we did their returns and their exports into the US. And they were just we need to move out of this warehouse. We're busting out of the seams. What are we going to do? Do we just go to a 3PL? Should we try to keep it in-house? What essentially, what's your advice here? I'm I don't know too much really around kind of this, right? I'm just trying to I'm just moving freight for you. But I really kind of stress the emphasis on how important it is to control as much as you can in your supply chain. And just as much as you control in your supply chain means you control everything through the customer experience. And they kind of loved the direction I had on that. And then the rest is history. Yeah. I done that 2 years ago. It's been great.
Yeah. So something, I guess, here in the UK, but all over the world, as in the tagline from Sydney to Hollywood, there's something about Meshki and even Australian, women's fashion brands in general that seem to have a, global domination going on. They're popping up everywhere. What do you think it is that you guys have that's such such an international appeal at the moment?
In terms of the fashion industry, we've definitely kind of seen it grow here in Australia. And then I think just having the ability to have such easy access to kind of international markets, companies like Shopify are making it just super easy to just like plug in and just sell internationally like really easily. And then that kind of our brand really kind of speaks to that demographic of, you know, being able to tailor to a demographic here with within the general consumer, and then really the high end also consumer. But really it's like always changing customer behavior and just having that ease of being able to kind of explore new opportunities. Like it's just, yeah.
And I guess it's pretty competitive as a, you know, as an industry, of course.
Yeah, it
In terms
is.
of Meshki, like, what do you talk about when you talk about like standing out or differentiating
Yeah.
as a brand?
Like, I think how we differentiate ourselves is definitely around like the quality that we kind of invest in. Like everything's designed in-house. Like we really try to, we're still exclusive like Meshki, like we're not on any kind of marketplaces right now, and that's kind of how we differentiate ourselves in the market. Is like you come to us because you know Meshki, you're like you know our designs, we're very branded, like we have that niche market, we know our customer, and we kind of are really like we market around that.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I can tell. Let's talk about you, Damien. Your you know, your role. What's your remit at the moment? You know, how things going from a kind of ops perspective, and I guess what would be interesting is how does what you do day to day play into that kind of wider strategy that we've talked about?
Yeah. It's definitely kind of right now. It's pure like kind of firefighter. Like there's so many kinks in your supply chain, and really it's just like kind of managing that customer experience, all like through end to end. So you've got like we're just assuring you're aligning your suppliers, your freight forwarders, all the way through to your warehouse and mile. And then like kind of your returns management on that piece, just having like kind of a seamless experience through it all. I do think like understanding what your customer wants and knowing that service you can deliver whether and have different options, like you kind of like your express option, your standard option, and really tailoring like that experience to them. And just like localizing like the experience, and that really just helps with like kind of that international growth of just having multiple payment gateways and just localizing and merchandising differently. It's definitely like a kind of a communal effort, like across departments, just all being on the same page, because everything just kind of gets hit on like towards like the supply chain part. It's like, let's just do this. This is a great idea. Let's just execute on it. And you're kind of sitting there juggling all the balls. But when you've got like a clear vision where you want to take the company, that's kind of your starting point. And then it's just really creating that seamless experience. And we've done like such a good job. You know, it's all about really having a personalized approach to it. And that really just comes from like kind of knowing what your customer wants and their needs for that. Just I think it really kind of key for us over the last like 12 months has just been like finding like the right partners to kind of support us with this goal. Whether it's like all your freight forwarders or your like carrier providers, just have like kind of this shared vision for how like where you want to take the company.
So a number that gets thrown around with Meshki a lot is this 500%, you know, growth, which is incredible. And like, yeah, we've seen it. I'd say, I don't know, Ollie would probably agree that there's some sort of, you know, secret sauce going on in terms of what you guys are doing. Can you tell us what that is? And if not, can you tell us how do you keep going at that rate, but also, you know, sustaining the business and not busting out the seams?
Hey, if there was a secret and you know about it, I'd love for you to let me know. Because I don't think there's a secret. No. Really, we've made like a ton of mistakes on the way, and we've just had to kind of like learn from those mistakes. We're much better at kind of like reviewing data from our early ages now and just kind of making the right decisions. Like a massive key piece of when I joined the business was just implementing systems and processes, just so we could make better decisions and just streamline our processes end to end. Because we were just at the point where we were kind of just, we were busting out of the seams. Like we would come into normal days about 300, 400, about 200 orders like on a Monday. And then during like Black Friday sales peak, I remember coming in and it was like 8,000 orders, like backlog. And like, we didn't know, like me and my directors were trying to do the like projections on how long it would take to fulfill it based on like our current and it was like 2 weeks. Like we were like, we can't fulfill these in 2 weeks. We had to like literally pull everyone from their roles, like design, marketing, like graphics, like everyone got pulled off. The bosses were in the warehouse, like picking and packing orders. We had one person on customer service, like answering emails during that time. Like it was like my like second month of like starting. And then after like from that Black Friday, I was like, we can't let this happen again. Like no way. Like can we scale like this? And we're only running like Shopify from there as well. So after that sale, we had to move warehouse. We had to implement a WMS. Like we just had to have the right systems in place. And yeah, that's how I reached out to Ollie. I was like, mate, I need help here. like I had a stack of invoices this high and a stack of labels this high, and I had someone like their whole day was stapling invoices and like labels together. And yeah, that was just really, it was just about like envisioning where the company wanted to go, aligning all of our company values, and just ensuring that like our operation could execute on the strategy where they're like what we wanted as a brand. So
Yeah,
it's been a hell of a journey. Yeah.
and I guess that's that piece you just mentioned as well. Like marketing turns something on, or Black Friday, or you do some promotion, and suddenly it just spikes massively, and it's your problem to deal with. So
Yeah,
that's the secret.
it was fun. It
But
was
I think
great. Yeah.
the whole part is like a lot of the growth and great brand stuff comes from founders who are super creative and just focusing on what the customer wants from a product perspective. And there is absolutely no requirement in that DNA to have any idea of how to do the operational side of things. So I just remember our early conversations, and it was like, you'd walked in from like this operational side, and it's just, like a creative chaos, right?
Yeah, it was. Like we had SKUs, like we had aisles of categories in alphabetical order, kinda in alphabetical order, like when it was convenient. And yeah, it was just like picking and packing. We were like using like really awful like tote trays, and we'd gotten to the point where we just weren't like in a position to scale anymore. And yeah, it was like, I think that was kind of just key, is just getting what we need to execute, and then kind of just, yeah, it's all kind of just flown from there.
Yeah. So the last thing I'd love to talk about is the most recent move. You got a brand new, shiny, huge distribution center now. I'd love to hear, when did you know that you were going to need to move, and how did you feel about it at the time? And then, of course, how's it going now? How's it now it's up and running?
The scary thing is, we did them like, I moved a warehouse as soon as I joined the company,
Yeah.
and then we only took a 2-year lease because we knew we were at a position where we didn't really have the infrastructure in place to invest in like a massive warehouse, and we kind of just positioned ourselves like, okay, this is going to be a kind of temporary solution for us. So it was kind of always in the back of my mind of like, I've got to do this again in like 2 years. But we basically just we kept in the trajectory of growth of the business, and we just kind of realized, for us to keep growing, we just need more inventory. So just reviewing the numbers, we have to grow our inventory holding by about 500% to meet the numbers for the next 5 years. And our SKU range is going to increase from about 3,000 variants right now up to 7,000 SKUs to kind of meet that. So really, it was all just about positioning us to ramp ourselves up. And then kind of just to base that, it was just like reviewing the data and having a look at all our inefficiencies in the warehouse. Really, we were measuring all of the touches in terms of inventory that we're spending, and like moving stock around, pick and pack routes. And really, we pinpointed on that and saw, hey, we're spending so much time on replenishment, on moving this, that, and goods in, that we're like, it's just cheaper to get like a bigger shed right now. So it was just kind of it was a no-brainer for us to really kind of move into that like bigger space and kind of open things up a lot, especially because we kind of work in like a volume game here, and we don't do any wholesale. It's all direct to consumer, so it kind of just made sense for us to just kind of have more big phases, have more SKUs rotating through. But yeah, it was just it was an interesting time, that's for sure. It was just we just needed to kind of position ourselves to kind of like keep growing with the company and execute on that. Yeah.
How much capacity do you reckon you could get through the new setup in a day if you had your maximum resource?
Yeah, like in terms of like dispatching
orders.
out.
Yeah.
Picking and packing orders, we can get. We made it into the ability, like we've got 8 pack stations there, and each pack station can do about 1,000 orders a day. So roughly it's about 8,000 if we have everything manned.
Yeah. Across 2 shifts.
Yeah, across 2 shifts.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. But like the beautiful thing about like kind of the dispatch, like adding pack stations is easy. It's just it's your pick runs that kind of you need to measure, and we just had to put in like be a lot smarter with our inventory. Like doing this warehouse move, even though we moved triple the amount of stock as our first one, we had people blocks this time, whereas this last warehouse we didn't have people blocks. So moving it over, we did the move within 3 days. We moved over about 250,000 units, and we're up online within 3 days. Like it was really kind of like a seamless experience. Where
how did you coordinate with customers? Like, were they aware that you were doing a warehouse move? Like, did you do any messaging on the website or anything?
No, we didn't, because we didn't really need to. Like, we went offline on the Friday, and just due to everything that was happening for like the COVID situation, we already had like a slight dispatch delays, like kind of rolling. So we went off Thursday. We got all of the orders off from Thursday afternoon cutoff, and we kind of just went offline on the Friday. Like we were still trading, like we were still selling everything.
Just sounds so jammy.
And then Monday we just dispatched it all out again. So yeah, it was kind of like a blessing in disguise that we kind of had those pumps already up. But yeah, it was very it was much more seamless than the last one, definitely. Like we had to do an entire stock take, like without a WMS, the move was just like, the first warehouse move we did, we were like, me and my directors were in the warehouse up until like 4 a.m. doing stock takes, like just counting stock on like little sheets of paper. And then we uploaded them into Shopify, and then realized the next day that like nothing synced up anyway, like nothing married up. And it was just like all a waste of time. So yeah, it was definitely refreshing kind of having that support.
They weren't involved this time?
No, they didn't come in.
Precondition of the move, like if I'm there till 2 a.m, it's gone wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So my one of my favorite parts of this show is at the end I always throw it over to Ollie, and I like to ask him about, in this case, Damien, our conscientious individual, and ask him why he thinks that this is a great induction into the Hall of Fame. So Ollie, what do you reckon?
So, Damien. I remember the early conversations when you had first moved across, and I think as a person, you almost embodied the friction that these two worlds colliding creates. You've got the eccentric, creative fashion with, you've got some young, ambitious female directors who are going to take this brand in one direction, and the sky's the limit. And on the other hand, you've had to come in and be the realist and go, operationally, this stuff just can't come together. But it's not that straightforward, because you've got to somehow live over in this world and be accepted, and then you've still got to deliver stuff over here. And that's the magic. That's what I feel you've managed to pull off at Meshki, where the company culture and the organization is very much focused on that target market. I think that's the secret. I think Meshki is the target market. Like, it lives and breathes it. And Damien somehow manages to live in that Hollywood world. of blending between the two. Warehouse 1 minute, champagne the next. And yeah, we're very excited to see the new operation. We've been through the early crazy Meshki days, and we're super excited for the future days. So for those reasons, Damien, you are a PeopleVox 10X Hall of Famer. Congratulations.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
very much.
It's an honor. It's an honor.
Put that on your LinkedIn and ignore all the job offers that come flying in.
I'll add it. I'm looking forward to it.
Cheers.